Welcome to Self-Publishing with ALLi from the Alliance of Independent Authors. This week it's our advice stream focusing on branding, marketing, and promotion. Join host Dale L. Roberts as he interviews the brightest minds, experts, and insiders in the writing and self-publishing business. Get actionable insights to help you level up your author brand and reach more readers. This Self-Publishing with ALLi podcast is sponsored by BookVault. Sell high-quality print-on-demand books directly to readers worldwide and earn maximum royalties selling directly. Automate fulfillment and create stunning special editions with BookVault Bespoke. Visit bookvault.app today for an instant quote. And here's your host, Dale L. Roberts.
Welcome to the branding, marketing, and promotion segment of the Self-Publishing with ALLi podcast. I'm Dale L. Roberts, and in this episode, we're digging into what it really takes to grow your author platform, not just with tools, but with purpose. My guest today is Danica Favorite, community manager at PublishDrive, a self-publishing company focused on helping authors distribute their books wide, manage promotions, and optimize their sales through smart publishing solutions. But today, we're not just talking about PublishDrive. This is about Danica today because I find her super fascinating. With her years of experience as an author, marketer, and community builder, she's seen what works, what fails, and what most authors never even think to ask when it comes to building a lasting brand. Welcoming to the show, Danica. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm alive and kicking. Anytime I get a chance to meet up with you, it literally just lights up my day. And I think everybody's going to discover why today.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I love hearing that. It's always, I think it's easy when you get to talk with great people, I feel like when, we've talked enough that it's like, it's my buddy Dale, we're just having a chat amongst friends, and that just makes it more fun for everyone.
Well, I want to tap into your background because, you have been doing this for a number of years, both as a traditionally published and self-published author. You've worn a lot of hats: author, marketer, and now, of course, community manager at PublishDrive. How has that mix of experience shaped how you approach author branding?
Well, it's funny because I think it ultimately comes down to the same thing. It always has, and I think it always will. Obviously, we'll probably get into this more, that I definitely have a bent towards AI, and I've got an AI podcast that I do with Steph Pajonas called Brave New Bookshelf. And so a lot of people are like, ooh, marketing with AI and this and that. And yes, but here's what it comes down to. And this is what I was saying when you and I first were chatting, is it's the relationships. And you have to build those relationships. I have friends in the writing business that I made 20 years ago. And some of my biggest cheerleaders. And so I have gotten to do that for a really long time. And those relationships are the thing that really sustains you over the course of a career. And, some of the people that I look up to or looked up to back then, they aren't even writing anymore. But there are still those relationships, and you still chat on Facebook, and you still go through life together. And I think that's really unique to our industry, is remembering that it is the relationship. And my first experience with that was, it was the first synopsis I ever wrote when I was trying to submit my first book for publication. And one author who was just so kind and so gracious said to me, "Hey, I would be happy to look at your synopsis for you." And at the time, this woman was making a lot of money, teaching synopsis classes and things like that. And she did it for me for free.
Nice.
And I remember saying to her, how do I repay you? What do I do? And she said, just pay it forward. And, at some point in your career, you're going to be able to help somebody else out. And I want you to remember this moment, and I want you to do the same thing. And so I said, okay, cool. And that is really how I have spent the past, I really hate saying 25 years because I feel so old, but that is what I've done my entire career. Do I have that opportunity to pay it forward to help somebody else out? And I know that is your philosophy, which is why we're friends, is that idea of, can I make a connection? Can I help somebody else? And that is what marketing really is, like building those relationships, whether it's with other authors who can help you market or other authors who can give you advice or right down to your readers. And are you building that relationship with them and creating that community of people who believe in you, believe in your writing? And it isn't just about you because it's about your belief in them.
Mhm. I really love the idea of relationships. How does it tie in? How do you find that some of these relationships have influenced your idea of author branding in general? Because I've seen some of your books and boy, you can see that there's a certain branding element to that visually speaking, but I'm sure there's other aspects we can cover in branding. So how did those relationships influence the author branding? Say the difference between day one for Danica Favorite to now.
So part of that, like I appreciate the compliment on the cover branding. Most of those I had zero input on because that was my publisher.
Yeah, it was just like, we're doing it for you. Forget about it.
Right,
You don't have
exactly.
to worry about it.
I wrote for Harlequin, and so Harlequin, all of their books are very specifically branded, and you really don't get a say in that.
Gotcha.
So I think that is one of the things that is maybe not where I'm a good example of the branding because I had no say. Uh, I mean, that said, as I look at what I'm doing and kind of taking a look at pivoting my writing career right now. Actually, I'm in the middle of a big writing career pivot. And that really was like looking at, okay, branding, who is the core of who Danica is and what I want to say through my writing. And some of that really is leaning into other author friends and saying, okay, what do you see? What do you think? Because sometimes we are too close to ourselves. And I can say, I want this to be my message. I want to do this. This is my branding. And I find that we're often too close to our own work and our own stuff to really have that good sense of what the branding should be. And so sometimes I think that relationship isn't necessarily the branding itself, but it helps inform the branding.
Gotcha. When you first connect with an author who has like no brand presence, where do you start? Like, what's the first thing you look for or recommend they focus on first?
So, what I recommend is really asking them what that theme is. Why do you write? Like, what is that question for you? And I understand, okay, to make $1 billion or whatever, maybe that is some people's author answer. But really, like, why are you choosing to tell the stories that you're telling? What is that message that you're putting out into the world? Because that's going to inform all of the branding. If I were like Mal Cooper, for example, she's got all of the space books and everything. And so when you see her at conferences and stuff, she kind of dresses in the latex space kind of thing because that's who she is. That's who her branding represents. And so part of that is to figure out what that branding is for you. Like I don't necessarily have a brand where I have to dress a certain way. But like, again, when I think about that branding and what is the message that I want to tell, my message is very simple. It is about the fact that your story is valuable and your story matters. And so for me, everything I do is informed by that lens. Even my work at PublishDrive. Part of why I do what I do at PublishDrive is I believe that everybody has a valuable story to tell. And I spent, the first most of my career working for a major publisher where the gatekeepers were saying these stories are valuable, these stories aren't valuable, because they were just looking at it in dollars and cents. And I'm in a position now where I can look at it in terms of, no, every story has value. How do we help you get it out into the world? But part of that is you needing to know what that message is so you know where to target it, who is going to be the right audience for that, and who needs to hear it and why.
I love how simply you broke that down. I think it's sometimes, again, as you had mentioned, it's tough when it's right in your face.
Hmm.
And when you take a step back, though, or you have somebody that's a bit more unbiased that can offer some recommendations like you, it really is very beneficial. I know firsthand about the whole branding visually because I'm always wearing the orange shirt. It's for purposeful reason. And by the way, people could go into my closet. They probably think I wear the same orange shirt all the time and like I'm some scuzzball. No, I've got an entire closet of orange shirts, believe it or not. And that's my branding. And I don't think everybody needs to embrace that or like Mal Cooper's, pleather leather type, latex look, So, but you've worked closely with both traditionally published and self-published authors. What branding and promotion mistakes do you see both groups making over and over again?
So, I think the biggest mistake I see is like, especially for traditionally published authors, which by the way, I made that mistake a lot, is relying on your publisher to do all the work for you. You have to do the work too. And, I went through seasons where I couldn't do the promotion and I got to ride on the coattails of what my publisher was doing. But, you have to be willing to put in the work regardless of whether or not you're traditionally or independently published, because ultimately it's your book. And if you want the sales, the buck has to stop here. You have to be the one who makes those decisions for branding and marketing. So that is like the big one for traditionally published authors. But the one that I see for everybody is that I believe very strongly every author needs an up-to-date website. And I'm going to get some flack for this one, Dale. I'm going to get some flack.
Uh-oh.
I think that you need a presence on every social media channel. Now, I say presence. So everyone who's freaking out, oh no, I have to do all the social. No, you don't. But be present. Like at least own your name on all of the social media platforms. If a new social media platform opens up, you grab your name. And part of it is because you don't know if you're going to want to use it in the future. But here's the other part of it. And this is what happened to me a lot when I was promoting authors at my previous job is, oh, great, Dale has a new book out. I am going to put him on all of our social medias. Oh, wait, who do I tag? And I know that's really silly, to say that, but it's really, really hard if, for example, your social media handle on Twitter or X, I guess, I still call it Twitter, but if your social media handle was Dale Loves Cupcakes on one, and on the other one is Dale Fantastic Musician, I don't know that. And a reader looking for you isn't going to know that. And so you want to scoop up as many, all of the domains, all of the social media handles as close to Dale L. Roberts as you possibly can and keep it consistent. So if there are two Dale L. Roberts out there, I'm lucky I'm Danica Favorite. There are no other Danica Favorites in the world. But, if there's Dale L. Roberts, okay, be Dale L. Roberts author. But do it consistently and make it easy to find. And then use the same or similar profile picture so that immediately if someone's looking for you, no matter where they're looking for you, they know immediately it's you. And even if you're not present on that social media platform, in your bio is a link they can click on for where to find you and how to contact you. Because I've seen so many authors miss out on opportunities because, someone's looking for them on Instagram. They're not on Instagram. And so they've missed out on that promotional opportunity, which is free, simply because they didn't have a presence there where even if it's just Instagram with their information in their bio and, hey, I am not really active on Instagram, but click here and go to my website. You have to have that way for people to reach you.
So true. And you bring up a good point of reserving the social media handles. It's something I did a long time ago, and I can't remember who taught me that. But it was more recently over the past several years as my notoriety, if you will, or fame, some people might say, it grew. So in turn, what ends up happening is you get a lot of ne'er-do-wells that come in and they want to impersonate me. I've had some impersonators before, Danica. That's the wildest
impersonator.
A
All
Dale
right. Maybe
impersonator,
I
yeah.
should get I'll get an orange shirt and I'll put my hair up and like put a little stocking cap or something on and be like, hey, I'm
That's it, yeah. It's scary, but thankfully, I'd already reserved all those social media handles,
Mhm.
so a lot of people were able to kind of identify. Notice I said a lot, not everybody. They were able to say, "That's not Dale. Like,
Right.
that's definitely not him."
Right.
They already
Exactly.
knew that my handle was @selfpub with Dale, so it is a good one for long term, so even if you're a new author, the advice that Danica's giving you is very solid. I'm gonna go 100% behind it, but I'm also gonna double down and say that it could safeguard you in the future from people trying to pretend like they're you, and then they can, I don't know, sell people on, I don't know, some meme coin or some garbage product,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
and
you've got mustard on your face.
that happens. I see every once in a while, I'll see a post from an author friend saying, hey, if you get a request from this person, it's not me. And hey, if this person is asking you for money, it's not me. Like I've seen people taking over author handles and asking for money. And like, so yeah, you're right. It is basic internet safety at this point, but for promotional, like that's also really important. And
Yeah.
the other one I will say is particularly the newer authors or even an established author looking to launch a pen name, Google it before you go down on that pen name and use it. I had a friend who was writing inspirational romance and like there were some last minute things that changed that they could fix it, but the pen name she chose was actually a porn star's name. So,
Oh, no. Oh, gosh, no.
yeah. So, like when you're picking that pen name or you're picking that handle, immediately go out and check every social media platform. Make sure you can grab that handle or, again, Dale L. Roberts author or whatever. Make sure you can grab all of those and snatch them up immediately. And even if you end up not going with that pen name or using it, you can always cancel it and let them go, but at least have it just in case.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, that's wild. All right, I want to pivot over to something that you are obviously an expert at, among other things, obviously, because you're obviously the community lead over at PublishDrive. So let's talk about community. That's something that's a word that's slung around quite a bit, but I want to kind of really cement our understanding. What's something authors often misunderstand about building an authentic community around their books and brand?
I think it goes back to what I started in the very beginning. It's about relationship. There are so many times where I think the authors think that if you build it, they will come. And that just isn't the case.
I wish it was.
Yeah, I can, like how many authors have dead Facebook groups? Yay, I'm one of them. And and I'll be honest, like even the PublishDrive Facebook group is really dead. And part of that is I inherited it and they hadn't done a great job of creating that community. And so now I'm like, okay, but we haven't, we don't have that basis anymore. We don't have a baseline to really give the community members value and a reason to come back. Because the reason for them to come into your community isn't, hey, hear about my books. It's what value am I giving to them? Like, again, this is a relationship. Like, what am I doing to feed that relationship and make that relationship grow and be strong? Like, think about your reader avatar and think of them as your friend. Like, how would you build that relationship with them as your friend? And it isn't just about, hey, friend, I have a new book out. Come buy it. It's hey, friend, how are you today? Hey, friend, I found this recipe that you might like. Hey, friend, look at this funny meme I just got. It's like, this is what you do with your friends. And that's how you have to treat your readers and work through that and make sure that they understand that they're part of something where they belong. Because ultimately that is what people are looking for in community. They're looking for a place to belong. And, the kind of the postscript to my brand as an author is so that people know they're not alone. And like that is part of why I write. That's important to me as a writer. I want people to know their story matters and they're not alone. And, because I think when you have this great story of your life, which every human being has, when they think, oh, my story doesn't matter, that makes them feel alone. And so how do you, when you're creating a community around your readers, around people, see them as people and help them be seen and not be alone? Make them a part of something that is beyond, hey, buy my book. Is that labor intensive? Yes. If that's how you want to market, that's what you have to do in order to be successful. And by the way, choosing to not market that way, that's totally fine. But I think, again, in my opinion, that's what's going to give you that longevity.
Nice. Now, in your role at PublishDrive, you see what's working in wide publishing. How can indie authors leverage distribution as part of their brand strategy rather than just another sales strategy?
I think that's interesting because as the brand strategy, again, think about who are your readers and who are you serving? Like, are you someone, let's just pretend you write books about being in Italy and you're an American, but you're writing these great books about, adventures in Italy. I just saw a show on Netflix where, they bought this Italian villa and, well, I don't know if that would be appealing to an Italian audience, but gosh, if you're writing books set in Italy, why wouldn't you also publish them in an Italian market? Why wouldn't you also translate them into Italian? And the great thing about having wide distribution like PublishDrive is that you can get to all of those markets because we think, oh, Amazon will get you there. Amazon isn't in every market. And so think about where are the markets where your readers are? And also think about what do your readers prefer? So for me, here's my author distribution branding mistake. Most of my readers have historically been older people. And so what the little old ladies want is they want a paper book with large print. That is what they want. Trust me, if I have an ebook only book out, which I still have one that I haven't put into print because I'm lazy. And seriously, I get so much hate mail on that one ebook. I really should just do it. But it's like, do you hate your readers? Why aren't you putting this in large print? Don't you know I can't read? Well, yeah, I do know. There's also a million complications with getting that one particular book in print, but that's a whole other story. But think about that. Think about how you can serve your readers because distribution is important. Can you get that book distributed in the format your reader is going to like, in the territories that your readers are going to want to read it in, and all of those things? That's part of the branding in terms of saying, I see my readers, I care about my readers, and I want them to be seen and their needs to be met.
Nice. Now, I'm going to do a sharp pivot here. We're talking all about branding, but I feel almost like we have to touch on promotion before we wrap up today. So if an author came to you with, let's say, only an hour a week to spend on promotion, where would you tell them to focus their time and why?
Ooh, that is a super hard question because number one, it totally depends on the author and where their books are and all of that. But what I would say is, first of all, if you're distributing with PublishDrive, PublishDrive has a million different, okay, maybe not a million, but a lot of different free promotional publishing tools for promotion right in your dashboard. Use those because they're free. You just go through your dashboard of PublishDrive and you click yes, 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 boom, 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 and you're applied to all those promotions, and that's all you have to do. So if you're with PublishDrive, please do that and take advantage of it. I get so frustrated that more of our customers aren't taking advantage of it because it's there and it's free. But if you're not a PublishDrive customer,
I'm guilty.
If you're not a PublishDrive customer, again, think about where your readers are. If you are in KU, you probably want to look more Amazon ads. If you're wide, don't do if you do Amazon ads and you're wide, like you're missing out on all of these other stores that your readers are potentially buying from you. And so like right now, obviously the conventional wisdom is Facebook ads. But make sure you're talking to someone who knows Facebook ads and knows what they're doing, because like, again, I see this popping up all the time. Like I get Facebook ads for people who do Facebook ads, and most of them are garbage. So like when you're looking at, I'm sorry, I'm a little too honest sometimes, but
I love your bluntness. The candor is amazing. Keep it coming.
like if you see, okay, wow, this is a great deal on Facebook ads. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. But ask around, ask your author friends. We're here on ALLi. ALLi is such a great resource for who is a legit service provider, who is actually who's actually good at Facebook ads. And also remember, your mileage is going to vary. So think about, is the person you're looking at, are they good at doing them in your genre for your audience? Because again, different strategies for different audiences. And you have to really take that into consideration. And it's like, I know we say Facebook ads, but it's not one size fits all.
So true. And I think that goes for all of marketing and promotion, especially when it comes to spending your money. Finally, there's one thing. What is one thing you wish more indie authors understood about their power to shape their own career? You've been very inspirational, everything you've shared so far. So if you feel like you have to repeat yourself, by all means, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I think the one thing that you were just saying is actually in the question, is that they have the power. And like we give our power over to everybody else so many times, like I was saying with the marketing for traditionally published authors. Well, my book isn't doing well. My publisher isn't doing anything for it. Well, gosh, you know how to do it. Do it. You have the same capabilities. Go out and do your own book marketing. If you're an indie author and your book isn't doing well and you can't figure out why, again, we're here on the ALLi Podcast. You have so many resources in ALLi. You have so many other author friends that you should be building those relationships with. And like, if something's not working for you, don't blame the market. Don't blame how bad Amazon is. Don't say ads don't work. I know 6- and 7-figure authors who got there using ads, who are still doing it with ads today as we speak. So it isn't that, you're a victim of all of these things that don't work. Figure out how to make it work for you.
So brilliant. I always love chatting with you, Danica. How can our listeners get in touch with you? Social media, email, website.
Yeah. So my website is at oh my gosh, I'm glad this is being edited. Our website.
I don't know if Howard's going to clip it out. We're just going to leave it in because it's fun. It's raw.
Right. Let's do it. Makes a lot of herself. Headlines. So for PublishDrive, find us at PublishDrive.com. I mentioned my podcast with Steph, BraveNewBookshelf.com, which is a great resource for AI stuff. My personal website is DanicaFavorite.com. Again, I'm the only Danica Favorite in the world, so I am on every social media channel as Danica Favorite, so you can find me there.
I think the best way to put it is there's only one Danica Favorite, and there's only one favorite author for everybody, and it has to be you because you're always
It is me. It is me. I was talking to a guy last night, and he's like, "Wait, your last name really is Favorite?" And I said, "Yes, it is. It's on my birth certificate. That makes me legally your favorite."
You had to pull out ID, flash it to him, be like, there it is. So, well, Danica, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope that we can be able to bring you back to the podcast in the very near future.
All right. Thank you, Dale. It was really nice to be here. And I mean, as always, the time went by way too fast. So I'm sure we'll find lots more to talk about.
Thanks so much.
You've been listening to the branding, marketing, and promotion stream of the Self-Publishing with ALLi podcast with Dale L. Roberts. This podcast is sponsored by BookVault. Sell high-quality print-on-demand books directly to readers worldwide and earn maximum royalties selling directly. automate fulfillment, and create stunning special editions with Book Vault Bespoke. Visit bookvault.app today for an instant quote. And if you haven't already, we invite you to join our organization and become a self-publishing ally. You can do that at allianceindependentauthors.org.